Well, Heidi ho! Today we're going to talk about slope-intercept form. It's from lesson 4-3. You're going to be able to rewrite linear equations in slope-intercept form, and you're going to graph and interpret functions. It's a lot. I'm not going to lie to you, it's a lot. So we have to have our equation in a standard form for writing lines, and they call that the slope-intercept form. So one standard form for writing lines is that. The one we had before was ax plus by equals c. That's just a standard form. They just did a whole bunch of movement of the variables and whatnot to get y equals mx plus b. So m is your slope and b is the y-intercept, and when you write it in this format, y equals mx plus b, it's way easier to graph. So if it's not in that format, like a literal equation, change it around so that it is in that format. So we're going to play with that, the different formats that you're going to see, different ways we could graph from this information, and information we can get from the actual form. So understand this is slope-intercept form. Highlight that, note that. This is what they call it right here, and this is an example. Okay, where b here, m is our -2, b is 7. So it kind of just matches up like so. Okay, take a look at this first example. Write linear equations in slope-intercept form. Now, write an equation, that's one of these things, in slope-intercept form for the line with a slope of 4/7 and a y-intercept of 5. I always like to write my y-intercepts like that. Okay, for some reason I just kind of like the 0, 5 thing. That way I always can remember it's x and y, b is my y-intercept. So when I write that in there, I'm going to have the slope is 4/7, my b is that, and then y equals 4/7 x plus 5, and you're good. Okay. Go ahead and do the check right now, and we'll check the check in class. Do the check right now, and we'll check it in class. Be like, they'll give you a -22x plus 8y equals 4. They'll say, okay, go ahead and graph that. You're like, I'm not going to graph it like that. And so essentially what you want to be able to do is rewrite that into slope-intercept form. So we want to get the y all by itself. Sometimes it's helpful to put a dot by it or a line by it, but I want to get the y all by itself on that side of the equal sign. So I'm going to add 22x to both sides. So now I have 8y equals 22x plus 4. Now, I can't have 8 as my coefficient. I need it to be a positive 1, so I'll divide everything by the 8. If you'll notice, I went ahead and put it underneath the x as well as underneath what will be our b. And so I'll have 8 divided by 8 is 1. What's left? Y. 22x over 8. Now, you could leave it like this, but not really, okay? Not really. Let's go ahead and reduce 22/8. Go ahead and reduce 22/8 divided both by 2. Use your junk section off on the side if you need to do that. And leave it like this. The reason why is because I'll go ahead and I would go to, when I go to graph, so, future tense here, you'll need to use this and then move with this. So this is going to be your slope, how you're going to move, and you're going to start from here. But that's in the future. So just leave it like that. Okay? And we're good. Go ahead and do the check, and we'll check the check in class. Do the check now, we'll check the check in class. One thing I wanted to show you is answer this question. Let's think about, can x equal 5 be written in slope-intercept form? So one of the things I want you to do is sometimes if you forget what they are, go ahead and graph them. Do a quick graph. This is 5. So x is equal to 5. No matter what y happens to be, x is 5. That's a vertical line. And what do you know about vertical lines? Okay. They have no slope, or it's undefined. So because there's no slope or it's undefined, it cannot be written in slope-intercept form. Okay? How can you write something in slope-intercept form if there's no slope? Okay. Example number 3. The number of job openings in the United States during a recent year increased by an average of 0.6 million per month, okay, since May. In May, there are about 4.61 million job openings in the United States. Okay, write an equation in slope-intercept form to represent the number of job openings since it's happened. So really what you want to be able to do is, what is your intercept? Where are you hitting the y-axis at? What's your rate? Okay, I'm looking at this right now. Take the information, let's try to fill in the blanks, sort of. You're given the news that there are 4.61 million job openings. So if I'm doing that, I have to define my variables. What am I? So I know x is going to be my number of months, right? Number of months since May. And let's let the y be, the number of job openings in millions. Okay. So I know because the number of job openings is 4.6 million when x equals 0, because that's what we're starting off with. That's our first year that we're dealing with in May. We want to know what the growth about since that is. And we know that we started off at 0 and we're at 4.61 million because that was our initial value that they gave us. We know that it's increased at a certain rate. It increased at a certain rate of 0.6 million per month. And each month, I think there's a typo there. It looks like a typo to me. So our equation essentially is going to be y equals, this is my rate, or 6x, 61x, 0.6x, sorry. For our equation. Okay. So really, you could have done it with all this. Really, I have to think about the equation. Define my variables. Write an equation to represent the number of job openings. This is going to be what we're trying to find. Here, I happen to know this is my average. That's my rate. They gave us a value. They gave us another value, what I started off with and what my rate is. So you'll fill it out. So define your variables, then fill in what you know. Okay. Go ahead and do the check, and we'll check that in class. Now for the handy-dandy fun stuff. Okay. Graph a linear function with a slope of -3/2 and a y-intercept of 4. See how I wrote it like that? All right. So now write the equation in slope-intercept form. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's do that next. Okay. So let's go back here. Let's read up here really quick. I don't want to skip any of the reading part. The slope. The variables m and b I'll call parameters. Okay. So m and b are the parameters. So it changes the values. A constant function is in a linear function of the form y equals b. Okay. Equals x. Okay. The constant function has a slope of 0. The domain of, okay, we know that the graphs of constant functions have a slope of 0, which we know about that because there's no slope, right? There's zero slope. X equals 5 is your example of a no slope. The domain of a constant function is all real numbers. Okay, so the domain are inputs, all real numbers, and your range is whatever comes out, right? Whatever happens to come out. So usually it's all real numbers too. Okay, so let's take a peek. Graph a linear function with a slope of -3/2 and a y-intercept of 4. All right. Write it in slope-intercept form first. Well, that's not that hard to do. And then graph it. So here's how I want you to do it. When you see the slope, -3/2, the negative sign could go on the top or the bottom. It does not matter. But if it's on top, it means I'm going to go down 3. If it's on bottom, I'll go left 3. But in this case, it's on the left 2. In this case here, I'm going down 3. But I'm going to go right 2. From where? Where? Where do we go? The one point we know about, the y-intercept. So we have 0, 4. Label it. Go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Right 2. 1, 2. Put the point down. You're good to go. 2, 1. That's 1 point. Do it again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay. Always have 3 points. That looks like 4, -2. Notice I've labeled my ordered pairs. I'll now take my straight edge. I'll make sure I'm going through the line where it's on the grid. My dots might be a little bit off, but I want it on the grid. I have arrows. That looks spectacular. Y equals -3 x plus 4. Now, that's one way of graphing it. We'll talk about others in person, I think. For this check, we'll do this check together. Graph a linear function with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 7. So my slope is a -2 over, guess what? 1. Yep. Put it over 1. That way I can do my movement for a horizontal movement. B is 0, 7. my equation then is going to be, my slope is in negative 2x plus 7. No biggie. All right, let's do it. This time, though, I'm going to put the negative sign at the bottom, just to show you. Just for giggles, okay? Just to show you. We're going to go up 2 and left 1. So go to 0, 7. Isn't that nice? They gave it to us already. And, oh, I can't go up 2 and left 7. Gosh darn it, that's just really stupid. Well, let's see. Let's go reverse. Down 2, 1, 2, right 1, down 2, 1, 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. Okay, let's go ahead and reverse it. Let's say these are, we're going to assume that these are the right points. No big deal. I did it verbally that way, but I want to show you, if I were to go from a point here, I can still go up 2 and left 1 from this other point here. If my graph allowed me to, I could do the same thing over here. I could go up 2, 1, 2, and left 1, and I should still be on, I am still on the graph. Isn't that nice? So it does work the other way as well. So my slope here, and I want you to see you guys write that. You have to write that stuff that I have in the boxes, okay? That has to be written down there. You have to have that. You have to have your X's and Y's. And, oh, label a couple ordered pairs. 1, 5, 2, 3. I have at least 3 ordered pairs. Good to go. Example number 5, graphing linear functions. All right, here's what I would do. You got a couple of choices. One, you could write it into slope-intercept form and then graph from there. 2, you could use your zeros. Just make x 0, what happens? Make y 0, what happens? Okay, so, sorry about that. So, with this graph, you know, they want you to graph that. If I ever gave you something like this, here's what I would do. Really quick, write it in y equals mx plus b format. So I'm going to subtract 12x from both sides, and I'm not sure what's going on over here. So I get negative 3y equals a negative 12x plus 18. Divide everything by negative 3. Y will equal 4x minus 6. Okay, so my b is a 0, negative 6. My m is 4 over 1. You'll know they did the rise over the run. So I'm going to go 4 up and 1 to the right. Write that down there. It's plus 4 up, plus 1 to the right. So I go to 0. And uh-oh, they went by 2s on this bad boy. So I'm at 0, negative 6. I go up 4, so it's 2, 4, right 1. I hate that one. It's like halfway in between. And what they do here, 0, negative, up 4 units, and right 1, 1, negative 2. Yeah, that's where it's at. And so you connect your dots. I'd have you do a third one, but it gets kind of messy when it went by 2s. Okay, yay! What's the next page? Oh, example number 6, graphing and constants. Let me crank this out real fast. So when I have the graph y equals 2, what is it going to look like? Well, sometimes you might forget, you get in a panic. I don't know. Plot the point y equals 2, 0, 2. Now, plot a couple more points. Something 2 and something 2 over here. So a negative 3 and let's do a positive 3. Okay. Oh, wait. That's going to be great. It's going to be a horizontal line. So in case you forgot what it is, say, all right, what happens if x is negative 3? What happens if x is 3? You're good to go. Same thing over here. What if y equals 1? So go to y equals 1. Not there. This is y equals 1. All right, so I have y equals 1, so it's 0, 1. Now let's go ahead and plot a couple. Let's do 2, 1, and let's do negative 2, 1. Again, 1 positive, 1 negative, 2, 1, negative 2, 1. Oh, there we go. I'll draw my line. Jingle bam. Okay. Go ahead and do the check, and we'll check the check in class. And if you hung on for the code word or the phrase that pays, I want you to do this. In the bottom right-hand corner, I want you to write the phrase that pays. And the phrase that pays is Peter Piper, just leave it at that. Peter Piper, well, you know, it's that phrase, picked a pepper, whatever it is. So let's just put down Peter Piper. Peter Piper is a phrase that pays.